So just recently at D23, we got the announcement that Incredibles 3 is on its way. Of course, we already knew Toy Story 5 was coming. We just got Inside Out 2 over the summer. Those are all Pixar sequels. And so it begs the question, will there ever be a Cars 4? And I feel like, man, when I was watching the D23 presentation for Pixar, I was on the edge of my seat, especially when they announced Incredibles 3. I feel like if they're going to do that, then Cars 4 could definitely be on the horizon. But since they didn't announce it, I mean, who knows when or even if it will happen. So what do we have to settle for? Hey, a Lego Pixar BrickToons short, Trust Yer Ol Pal Mater. It just debuted on Disney Plus, and they actually posted the entire episode on YouTube as well. So I figured I'd make a video on it. It's the only new Cars content we've truly gotten since Cars on the Road. And I'll take it. I'll take what we can get. If we're not getting a Cars 4 for the foreseeable future, I'll take a Lego BrickToons short. And so we're going to go through it. We're going to go through the Easter eggs and ultimately determine, was this thing any good? I mean, it's different. Are we used to seeing our favorite characters Lego eyes? They brought back all the same voice actors, which I thought was pretty cool. The sound design's awesome. They used a lot of the same music from Cars 1, especially the ending race, so I thought it was kind of nostalgic in that sense. So we're going to get into it. I'm just going to go through it here. You're going to see a bunch of pictures on the screen, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to have a blast, and I want you guys to let me know your thoughts down below in the comments as well. So, of course, it starts with McQueen racing around Willys Butte. Is there any better way to start a Cars project than to have McQueen racing around Willys Butte? It's super iconic, and I thought it worked really well here. I love the engine roar of McQueen. Like I said, the sound design is really good. And yeah, it kind of took a little getting used to the Lego aesthetic here, but I think a lot of the characters do look really good. I mean, we've obviously seen them in Lego form before through all the merchandise, but to see it in an animated way was a little bit different. And I do feel like they will make merch. They will make collectible sets off of this short. I mean, there's just too much potential with the Mater here, with all of McQueen's gadgets and gizmos, all the souvenirs there. And of course, as we go on through the short here, there is a lot to be had in terms of Lego sets or even just individual cars, right? And of course, McQueen gets banged up. So, Cars 3, we saw McQueen banged up. Here we see him also pretty damaged in a lot more lighthearted way. You get to see Ramon, which was cool. And obviously, this is the crux to the entire short. McQueen needs to race very soon. They can't get the parts. And so they kind of hobble something together. They find a bunch of random stuff, and that's how we end up getting the Monster Truck McQueen that we'll get to here. There aren't really too many Easter eggs. I found the backgrounds in Ramon's house of body art to be very generic, very bland. You just see a bunch of colored paint buckets, I guess. I thought the way they made McQueen look damaged was interesting. I liked how the back wheel didn't have the tire anymore. I thought it looked pretty good, but I wish they put a little bit more detail into the background of Ramon's house of body art. But then we go on to the race, which they're calling the 400 Invitation, the Vitaline 400. There are kind of multiple names they talk about. It's also written on the actual oval of the race. So it makes sense that Vitaline is posted literally everywhere throughout this next part of the short here. It's on the pace car. It's literally everywhere. There are hardly any frames of the short going forward here that doesn't include a Vitaline logo. So I thought it was a little overboard. You also see a ton of other Piston Cup logos. Cars 3 next gen logos. You have Cars 1 logos. You have Cars 1 sponsors that were cut from Cars 3 and replaced by, the Igniters, Synergy, Combustors of the world. You have the Easy Idle Next Gen logo there. You have Dynaco Sidewall Shine. That's not even the exact font that was in Cars 1. So a lot of craziness going on here, and we're going to dive into it a little bit more and how I feel about their use of the Piston Cup sponsors during the episode, or the short, or whatever you want to call it. First off, let's address Robin Road. So one of the announcers here, who is clearly an ex-retread racer, or maybe, just extreme product placement, She's just an announcer who is absolutely pasted all over with retread logos. She's like a Frankenstein of Hall & Gas and Eric Amarolin because she has the lavender from Hall & Gas, but also the blue from Eric Amarolin. So I thought that was weird. You know what's even weirder, though? Because Pixar did actually have its hand in this short to some extent. I don't think much, but their name is on it. Their title card plays at the beginning in a cool Lego-ized way. So you have to attribute some of this to Pixar. So you're going to tell me that Pixar was like, all right, retread, Tacoman, Shifty Drug, Sidewall, Shine Fiber, Fuel, Hostile Takeover Bank, Dale Earnhardt Inc., you're out. Synergy Combustor, Igniter, Intersection, Speedy Comet, Blinker, whatever. You guys are all in. And yet, then turn around and make retread. I know it's not that big of a deal. It's a BrickToons short, but you're going to make this announcer a retread racer. It just feels so weird to me. Like, why remove retread from Cars 3, or at least the bank of Piston Cup sponsors, but then make the announcer here a retread racer? Whatever, no big deal. I love, obviously, RSN continues throughout. The trophy looked very strange. I don't think they mentioned Piston Cup at all during this short. They do say it's like the last race of the season, but they don't say anything about Piston Cup. So I thought that was a little strange. Now, they only used 2 actual next-gen characters from Cars 3, being H.J. Hollis, who's now the main villain, and Flip Dover there, who is seen racing alongside him. My issue with this is like, all right, that's awesome. They probably chose not to do Jackson Storm because, you know, Armie Hammer comes up, his voice actor, who's gotten himself into some tricky scenarios over the last few years. He hasn't barely done any acting work pretty much since Cars 3. There were a couple other movies. 2019, I believe, was one of his last years. He might have done some minor stuff since then, but investigate, Google search if you want to learn more about that. So they were like, all right, let's just choose another character. H.J. Hollis, awesome. And Tuokola, beautiful, right? Flipped over, kind of a nice color balance there. Popular racer, got it. Okay, every other racer is going to be just a generic random set of colors. You have a gray and black racer. You have a green racer with a little weird blue stripe on it. Like, okay. And yet you have all of these Piston Cup sponsor logos pasted throughout the episode. You got your Shifty Drug, Trunk Fresh, obviously Vitaline. Of course, there's no Vitaline racer. That makes 0 sense whatsoever. Easy Idol, like I said, Nitro-Aid. You see these logos throughout the episode, and yet they were unwilling to apply any of them to the racers. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Pixar. I'm sorry, Lego. You're not telling me. You're not going to actually give me all these generic looking racers when you have access to all of the Piston Cup sponsor logos. You can't put those on. You can't just kind of translate those to racers. Wouldn't take that much, in my opinion. So that irked me a little bit. I did not like seeing all the generic racers. It made it seem super lazy. I mean, if you're going to do generic racers, fine. A couple. Got it. I understand. But all but 2? And McQueen, you're kidding me, right? That's insane. The pace car looks cool. I'll give you that. The violin logos with the checkered flags on the side. I thought that looked kind of cool. You do get Crew Chief Mater here. I thought the flag waver was all right, but also kind of bland. And I thought it would have been cool if they did do it in a pickup truck way. But like I said, I mean, there's a Sputter Stop logo. There's an Octane Gain logo, but none of that shows up on the racers themselves. Just felt a little disingenuous and super lazy, in my opinion. So that irked me, but we're going to move past that. And yeah, Monster Truck Mater does look pretty cool. Again, the merch potential is off the charts. If they don't do something from the short, I would be absolutely shocked. Probably would be great to bring it out around the holiday season so it can coincide with, all the sales and, the rushes and whatnot. And my other issue, and I guess you guys are kind of getting where I'm going with this short. Like, I didn't love it. I'm glad it exists, but I don't think it was very good. Like, it's well produced, right? I think, the voice acting's good. I think the sound's great. Soundtrack is great music. The race lasts for seemingly all of 1 minute. Like, they go from lap 1 to 399 like that. Like, it's instant. The crash happens. They barely show much of the crash itself, and McQueen just kind of rolls over. I mean, literally, like he literally does. And it's a nice callback to Cars 1 when McQueen jumps through all the wreckage. Like, that's almost a direct callback. So I thought that was a little lazy. I mean, it almost was like when they set up the final act here, like the final segment of the race, when H.J. Hollis gets loose from the wreckage and almost is able to beat McQueen or tie him. I thought they were going to whip out McQueen's tongue again here, just like from the first Cars movie. I mean, why not? You already set up the wreckage and McQueen getting through it, just like the first movie. Why not whip out the tongue? They didn't end up doing that. I guess that's a good thing. But yeah, I just thought some of the aspects to the background designs, the racers included, were lazy. I thought the kind of way they wrapped up the story with the race was a little lazy as well. Todd, Pizza Planet Truck appears. That's cool. He appears at the end when McQueen is getting interviewed there on the stage. I thought that was nice. I thought that the little arrows pointing toward McQueen Flipped Over and H.G. Hollis looked nice. They're very similar to the arrows, and you guys are seeing what I'm talking about on the screen. It's hard to describe. Like the little blurbs that pop up on the screen showing the racer's name. Very similar to the ones in Cars 1 that shout out McQueen, the King, and Chick Hicks. I thought that was kind of cool. You got that shifty drug reporter in there, which I thought was like a little strange, but also intriguing. I do like Todd the Pizza Planet Truck being included. I like that. I can get behind that for sure. You got damaged H.J. Hollis. Of course, there's potential there. Lot of Vitaline references yet again. I mean, it's crazy how many Vitaline logos were in this race, and yet there was no Vitaline racer. Just, again, some weird things. I thought the ending was abrupt. I thought it should have ended in Radiator Springs. Would have been a nice complete circle. I know it's a short, but I mean, man, it was a short. I haven't actually watched any of the other BrickToons that they posted. I'm not super interested in them, to be honest. So at the end of the day, what would I rate this short? I would give this short a C-. I am super happy that it exists. Like, I'm glad we're getting more Cars content. If we're not going to get Cars 4, like I said, if we're not going to get Cars on the Road Season 2, if we're not going to get any other animated shorts, I'll take a Lego short. Like, hey, call me crazy. I'll take this. Was it super well executed? I think some aspects really were, other aspects not so much that I just went into. When I say Easter eggs, there weren't many, unfortunately. You had the retread stuff, you had the Todd the Pizza Planet Truck, and that's about it. The voice actors return, which was my biggest question. I honestly didn't think they would have returned, but then I saw in the credits, they sure did, and it sure as hell sounded like them as well. So that's all I have for you guys on this. Let me know your thoughts. Super important. I really want to hear your perspective. Maybe it'll change mine. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. I will see you guys soon for another video. Bye now. I'm actually really worried that Copa is going to demonetize this video for all the Lego shit that I showed during it. How the hell am I going to avoid... Oh, that should do it.
One day the sun's gonna rise again.